Hey guys, welcome to Comments on Screen. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be talking about some good news for Supergirl fans. The show today was officially renewed for a second season. However, there's going to be a few format changes. So the first thing, the biggest news, besides the fact that it got a second season, is that the show is going to be moving from CBS to the CW. So you may be asking, well, how did this happen? Back in March, the president of CBS had made some kind of announcement that all freshman shows were going to be renewed, and everyone assumed that was going to be included Supergirl, which was going into that whole Flash crossover that happened the week after Batman v Superman. Well, what we found out a couple weeks ago is that there had become a really big problem in which CBS didn't want to continue with Supergirl with how much money the show was costing due per episode. So the rumored amount is that the pilot cost somewhere around $14 million to make, which sounds insane. And it sounds insane compared to the visual effects that we got, because the visual effects in that pilot weren't really good. And I mean, if you told me that, Legends of Tomorrow, for example, was costing, like the pilot was like cost $14 million, I would probably be around, I'd probably be able to say, yeah, that sounds about right. Because Legends of Tomorrow's digital special effects looked a lot better than Supergirl, and it had way more of it than Flash or Arrow or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But it was costing about $3 million per episode. So anyone wants to do math, you can know that that was costing about $600 million, along with the $14 million pilot. Now, CBS was always a really weird network for me to be doing Supergirl, and I believe one of the reasons they even took this is that CBS, their demographic is much older. If you look at the shows they have, NCIS, Elementary, The Good Wife that just went off the air, the only real show that would get a sort of younger demographic is The Big Bang Theory, but even that is kind of a little skewed. It's kind of half and half. So Supergirl was a show that was brought in to, and I'm theorizing here. There was a show that was brought in to bring in young viewers, specifically women, young teenage girls and adult women, and it premiered to really big numbers. It was on a special Monday night where it followed The Big Bang Theory, and it got 12 million viewers. And then it was left on Mondays at 8 o'clock with no lead-in. And it was going up against Gotham, but I mean, that wasn't really much of anything. And it slowly went down to the point that the last few episodes in March and April, they were getting around 6 million viewers. Now, it did uptick a little bit for that Flash crossover, but honestly, not as much as I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be a much bigger rating for that Flash episode. I think the idea was that the Flash audience would come to the show, and I think it would be interesting to see how much of the Flash audience was already watching Supergirl, or how many, Flash audiences just didn't even bother to watch that episode. I always felt one of the weird things about that crossover was that because it was filmed later on, I mean, in that by the time the Flash series the Flash series never really acknowledged there was a crossover, but by the time they got to the part where Barry was putting that device on to go through time and he ended up going into another universe with Supergirl, it was like 3 or 4 episodes later on. So the scheduling seemed to really be off. And if you've seen Flash and Arrow, it seems that their schedules are off too because of how they tried to work in Barry's cameo into Arrow's funeral scene, which just the timeline of events are very, very off. But to get back to that, the CW never really promoted the idea that, the Flash was going to be on Supergirl. So you really only knew it if you were watching Supergirl, or if you went online or Facebook or anything and you heard someone talking about it. So they were getting really low ratings. The crossover really didn't uptick, I think, as much as the network wanted to. And the show's costing $3 million. So the first thing that they did was, this is apparently already confirmed to be happening, but the show is moving from Los Angeles, where it was filmed, and they're moving to Vancouver, which I am sure is not something that a lot of the cast members are really excited about, because they're going to have to completely move from where they are. Clarissa Flockhart, who's married to Harrison Ford, I mean, they live in California, and at least I think they do. And, now it's like, okay, well, your job is to go to Vancouver now. Which is a bit weird. And I'm sure there's going to be more cost cutting. I'll get to that in a second. But it's going to the CW. It's moving to Vancouver, where all their other shows are shot, and they can cut some corners around. I think the character of James Olsen, I really don't think that guy really needs to be on the show anymore. I think he was there to be a Superman mytho character, and to be the love interest for Kara, and I just think that entire story hasn't really evolved the way they wanted to, and I think it would be really easy to write him off the show. Maybe the special effects won't be as much. I mean, who knows? I also think the show would benefit if they had a shorter season. I know Arrow and Flash usually get 23 episodes. But I actually would like to see if Supergirl would get a 13 to 16 episode season, like Legends has, because of the effects, because it costs more money, all those things. And I have no idea when it's going to air. I'm thinking it'll probably air on Mondays, and maybe CW can work a program in which Supergirl 8 o'clock Mondays goes into Jane the Virgin 9 o'clock. This does open a lot of doors for more crossover opportunities, because they're now on the same network, even though the CW and CBS are pretty connected. I don't think they'll be jumping through hoops to get a crossover, and everyone's proposed idea that they do a 4-night crossover, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow, is probably going to come true now, even though Supergirl is in another universe. But I'm happy. I mean, I do like the show. I think it got a lot better after the first 5 or 6 episodes. I'm happy that's going to go into the CW, even though it's a little weird now that the CW is going to have like freaking 4 superhero shows on one network. I'm not too worried, but I'm just a tiny bit worried about where they're going to cut the costs for the show. I hope it doesn't affect the quality of the show, that they're going to, really start slashing that budget. I'm hoping that the move to Vancouver will really, be enough for them, and maybe get rid of James Olsen, because we really don't need him. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for the Supergirl getting a season 2? Do you think it should have gotten a season 2? Are you excited that it's going to be on the same network, and that there's possibly more crossover opportunities with Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow? Tell me your opinions in the comments, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.